Tom Silverstein covers the Packers, and he's been a busy man here, but he's taken time out for us. He covers the Packers for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Let me start with the Tebow story. Let me give you something different here, Tom. What do you think about Tim Tebow's chances of making the Jags?
Let's see. I would say they're probably akin to Rodgers playing for the Bears, maybe.
Oh, okay.
That would probably be my equation there.
All right. Quiet week after a wild week. So where do you is it a good thing if you're a Packers fan that it's been quiet?
It's probably a good thing, yes. So many things were fired right on draft day, and then, of course, you had all the reverberations after that and little nuggets coming out. And now I think it's just down to time. I think time is the one element that could make this thing go away. It's possible. I still don't believe that it's going to end well, but with time, people start to think differently and view things differently, and suddenly you get closer to actual season starting and training camp, and then maybe things flip a little bit. So that's really what it's going to come down to, in my opinion.
Okay, why don't you think it'll work out for Rodgers and the Packers?
Well, one, I just think that with Aaron Rodgers, when there's an issue and he holds a grudge, it's a grudge forever. Yeah. It's not something that he gets over very easily. This could be a little bit different in that maybe he just wanted to make his point, and that there's some things that they could do. You're starting to see signs that maybe he does want to come back. I mean, you're seeing his surrogates start to say, well, it's not as bad as you think it is. And everything you hear from either sources or people who've played with him or anything like that, it's, in my opinion, it's coming from him. So maybe there is a chance for reconciliation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort through fact and fiction here, Tom, and I know that you have to do this too because there's so much that's been reported. Nobody says, yeah, that's absolutely true. No, that's absolutely false, because Aaron hasn't said anything. And it's tough to navigate this, but I'm curious of the national view as opposed to the local view of this. Are they different?
Yeah, I think from a local standpoint, now, if we're talking about the view of what this whole thing is about, yes, I think it's different. If we're talking about the viewpoint of how this will end up, I'm not sure that the local people here also feel like this is not going to end well and that he's going to probably wind up somewhere else. But from the standpoint of what this is all about, we deal with Aaron on a regular basis and know a lot about him, and also know a lot about the Packers and Brian Gutekunst and what they've done to build around Rodgers. And, there's a sentiment all through the national media that he's not had anybody to play with through most of his career. Yeah. And of us locally know about Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson and Jermichael Finley and Randall Cobb and Devontae Adams. And I'm forgetting a bunch of people in a really good offensive line. So I think there is some difference, yeah.
And then you start to look at possible destinations here for Aaron Rodgers. Why is Denver standing out over everybody else? At least that feels like Denver is the front runner if he doesn't stay in Green Bay.
Yeah, it does to me too. I don't know why. I guess maybe for one, it's got to be in the AFC. Just history tells us it's got to be in the AFC. Ted Thompson dealt Brett Favre to the Jets, and Brian Gutekunst is a Ted Thompson disciple. He's not going to trade him, to anyone in the NFC, I don't think, that could beat him. So that's number one. Then you look at Denver. I just think that, and I'm speculating some here, but John Elway has got to know what an MVP quarterback can do for him. They did it with Peyton Manning, and Elway won 2 Super Bowls at the end of his career. And so why couldn't Rodgers win 2 for Denver? That's kind of my sentiment or my thought on why it would be Denver. Now, it could be the Raiders. I think that probably would be very logical. I'm not sure that Aaron Rodgers would know what he's getting into if he goes to play for John Gruden. But, Denver just seems more logical to me.
If you could get real answers, honest answers from Rodgers or somebody within the Packers organization, who would you want to talk to today?
Rodgers.
Okay.
No question. I mean, let's hear it, right from him. I want to hear what his gripes are, what is real and what isn't real, and is he really dug in? I mean, that's a sense I get, that he is so dug in that he's never going to play for the Packers again. But then you always get the mixed messages from his former teammates who are now sort of moving the dial a little bit towards he'll come back.
I know.
Certain things are changed. I don't know if it's going to require Brian Gutekunst to take out a billboard in Green Bay that he's sorry he drafted Jordan Love, or fly a blimp over Lambeau. I'm sorry, Aaron. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, you're just trying to figure out what the time frame is on all of this, and so Jordan Love is not going to be ready again this year. Is that right?
That's my gut feeling. When it was kind of tough last year because training camp was shortened. We only got to see Jordan Love a little, and by we I mean the media. And then once practice started for the season, you almost never see him. You just saw him throwing drills on air, so you couldn't really tell where he was at. The coaches give you the usual that he's advancing. But, Brian Gutekunst made it pretty clear when he drafted him that this was a 2 or 3 year project. And that's kind of where I don't understand from Rodgers' standpoint why he feels threatened about it, because he should be able to beat this guy out this year and next year and maybe even the year after that. And I think he could fulfill his contract easily. But if he plays like he did last year, this year, how do they cut him? I mean, how do you cut a guy? What if he wins a Super Bowl? How do you cut a Super Bowl quarterback and move on to the next guy? I don't. That's the insecurity part that I don't understand.
Tom, thank you for joining us. I know you've been busy covering this. We appreciate your time.
Anytime, Dan.
That's Tom Silverstein, the Packers beat reporter, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.